Mr. President, members of council. My name is Jim Lockhart. I'm the conservation chair of the Pikes Peak Sierra Club Group. And I'm here today. I'm very concerned about the proposed oil and gas regulations before you, but I'm also concerned about the staff presentation, which you just heard. You heard that local regulations must be harmonized with whatever rules the state should choose to adopt. You heard that in order to avoid conflict with areas of law regulated, you have to avoid rather the conflict with areas of law which the state regulates, and that's simply not true. That's area or field preemption, and that the notion that the state just can do that was firmly rejected in the Bowen Edwards case. I was preempted by a previous speaker who mentioned the letter which I did send to the Planning Commission. I do hope, however, that you will look at that. I think it does set out the broad extent of your authority to regulate in this field. Mr. Herpen, you are absolutely right to ask your question. In order to avoid conflict with a state, you do not have to make oil and gas operations a permitted use in every single zone and part of the state. For that matter, you don't have to ask a state regulatory agency to decide, which of course has very little knowledge of local conditions, to decide what are appropriate conditions to impose on oil and gas operators to prevent them from interfering with the activities of other landowners in the vicinity. And as long as the conditions which you impose are reasonable and they don't prevent achievement of the state's interest, which is the extraction of the oil and gas resource, they will be upheld. I think you should look at this from the landowner's point of view. If you put these conditions in the city code, as you have the power to do, then landowner can buy, lease, own, develop property with assurance that he'll know what will happen as far as future oil and gas development would occur. He won't have to worry that someone may pull the ground out from under him by coming in and claiming that a state permit gives him an absolute preemptive right to turn a part of the city into an oil and gas field. I think it's very important that you exercise this power. Now, as for whether the state regulations are sufficient, I do refer you to something in your packet regarding the governor's oil and gas initiative. On August 15th, the governor did announce an initiative to look at, among other things, to consider further limits on oil and gas operations in densely populated areas. That's in your packet. But in any case, I think this makes it doubly absurd for anyone to say that the current state regulations are cast in stone and that the only regulations out there that are valid, and that you can't exercise your authority to adopt valid, reasonable local regulations. I hope you will do so. Thank you.
Thanks.